In the today's session, we are going to deal with the next concept from Unit 1, and that is view of data. So, we have defined earlier a database management system. So, how we define a database management system? It is a collection of interrelated data, and also it has some set of programs that allow users to access, modify and manipulate this data. So this is how we define DBMS, right? Now, a major purpose of database system is to provide users with an abstract view of data. So what we mean by that? In fact, database management systems are being used by many different kinds of users. And it may happen that all those users are not computer trained. So depending on the kind of user who is using that database management systems, we need to give some abstract view. We need to provide some kind of an abstract view to that particular user. So what we mean by abstract view, the system actually hides some details, certain details of how the data are stored and manipulated. So many times, if the user is not really required to know how actually the data is being stored and maintained in the database, then it would be better to hide those kinds of details from that kind of a user. And that is why system typically hides certain details like how the data is stored and maintained. And this is what we mean by the abstraction, right? Hiding something is nothing but the abstraction. So a major purpose of database system is to provide users with an abstract view of data. So as far as the databases are considered, we mentioned that the database systems are designed such that the user should be able to conveniently and efficiently access the data and manipulate that data. So obviously, if we want to have the efficient access to the data, obviously while building the database management systems, the developers need to make use of some complex data structures, right? But as I mentioned, even though some complex data structures are being used to store the data, right? These kinds of data structures are hidden from the normal users. That is what the abstraction is. So we are having, in fact, three levels of data abstraction: physical level, logical level and view level. So with the help of these three different data abstraction levels, the database management system developers have provided with certain abstract views to different kinds of users. So let us begin with physical level data abstraction. So this is typically the lowest level of abstraction, and this physical level describes how, what is important, this physical level of data abstraction describes how the data are actually stored. We'll see with the example what we mean by that. Okay, and also it describes complex low-level data structures in detail. So typically, whoever are the database administrators or whoever are actually dealing with the design of a database management system, those users only need to deal with this physical level. So physical level actually describes how the data are actually stored, and it describes typically the complex low-level data structures. But only one class of users is aware of this physical level of data abstraction. It is not mandatory that all the users of the database system should be aware of this level. They need not be aware of how actually the data is stored. So only who are directly dealing with the design of the database system, the database administrators, only those people should be aware of this physical level. So this is one level of abstraction. This is the lowest level of data abstraction, right? So we are hiding something from the users who are working on top levels. So this is the lowest level, and that is why whoever are the users like database administrators and the designers only need to know how the data are actually stored. So whether it has been stored in the consecutive memory locations, or what kinds of low-level data structures are being used to store that data, this kind of information comes under this physical level of abstraction. In the next level, that is the logical level. It is the next higher level, higher than the physical level. So in the logical level, we describe what data are stored in the database and what relationships exist among the data. So physical level deals with how and logical level deals with what. So the application programmers and once again the database administrators are actually dealing with this logical level of data abstraction. So this level actually describes what data are to be stored in the database and what are the possible relationships among the data. So let me give you one example. We were talking about one example of storing the data in our department. So let us assume that we are storing the data for instructor or faculty member in our department. So what are the important elements those I need to store with respect to the instructor in our department? So let me tell you that we need to store the data like ID of the instructor. We may need to store the data like name of the instructor, then department name, then salary, and so on. So the person who is working at this level, logical level, right, needs to know what data needs to be stored. So what needs to be stored in the database? Say for example, instructor, data related to instructor, the similar kind of data related to student, data related to courses. That data needs to be stored in the database, right? And also in the logical level, we need to determine the relationships among the data. So how instructor is related with the student, how student is related with the courses. So that kind of a data needs to be dealt with under logical level of data abstraction. So whenever we are saying logical level, we are describing what we are going to store. We are going to store instructor, we are going to store a student's data, we are going to store course data, and so on, right? And the relationships. So while describing this data, what we are mentioning here is the instructor record has 4 components. And what are those 4 components? The ID with data type character, the name, once again the data type is character, the department name, data type is character, and the salary of the instructor, which is of type number, numeric. So this is how actually we are describing a record of an instructor. So this is how we need to mention at the logical level, right? But if I'm defining how to store a data or what are the different components those I need to store for instructor, I'm describing the instructor record like this. But whatever is the underlying mechanism, whatever are the underlying data structures, those are not known to me at this logical level. So how character data is being stored actually in the database, how numeric data is actually been stored in the database, or how this entire record is being stored in the database, all those details are known at the physical level and not at the logical level. Are you getting me? So the person who is working at the logical level only needs to understand this thing, that the person wants to store some data. So what data that person wants to store, and if that person, say for example, wants to store the data of the instructor, that person only need to define the data types of the elements, right? Those he or she wants to store. That's all. And the relationships. But how actually this data is being stored in the database system physically in some storage device, that detail need not be known by the person who is working at this level, logical level. Right? So how part is being considered under physical level, whereas logical level describes what data, right? So how deals with physical and what deals with logical level. So I hope I'm clear with the concept. If you have any doubts, please let me know. Go ahead with the doubts. Unmute yourself and ask the question. Yes, anybody? Sapna Rokde, roll number 327. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So can you explain me what you understood? What is physical level data abstraction and what is logical level data abstraction?
In physical level abstraction, that describes how the data are actually stored, and in logical level abstractor, that describe what data are stored in the databases.
Correct. Very good. So, okay, thank you. So, Abhijit Katkar, 319. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Now, yes. Now you go ahead with once again with the illustration of the logical level. Say for example. So what needs to be known at logical level?
At logical level, we need to know only the kind of information to store.
So for example.
So for example, we have taken the instructor. So we need to store the ID of the instructor, name of the instructor, department name, and salary.
Okay, so if I want to store information about a course, so how I'm going to store that information, or actually I need to describe the way in which I want to store that information.
Yes, we have to store the course.
Yes, go ahead.
Course number, that course ID, course name.
Okay.
The instructor or the faculty related to that course. and the which class is going to have that course.
Okay, so partially correct. You said it correctly that for if I would like to store a course information, then I need to have the course code for that course name for the course. These two are the correct answers, but not necessarily while describing a course and also storing the data about the instructor who is dealing with that course. Right? So whenever we are talking about course, only the course related things we are going to store. Meaning we may add in the credits for the course.
Okay.
Correct? But whoever is the instructor that is handling that course, that would be different every semester, every year. It may happen that different instructor may handle that course. And that is why it is not actually related to the course, but it is something else that we are going to focus upon later. But if I want to have or I want to depict that kind of information, which instructor is handling which course, then that is what the relationship between these two. So I'm having one data that is instructor, I'm having another data that is course, and the relationship that exists between instructor and course, that also I'm going to depict at the logical level, but in different way. So if I want to depict that information, how I'm going to depict that information in that particular record, I may mention only the course code now and the ID of the instructor. That's all. So course code and ID. That information I'll store under that kind of a relationship. So we are going to focus upon that later, but only the essence is that under logical level, we are going to define the structure, the way, how actually we are going to store the records. So what information we would like to store and the format for the records that is used to store that information. And at the physical level, actually, we are concerned with how actually that record is being stored at the physical level in the storage device, which kinds of data structures are being used. So say for example, if I have described at logical level that the instructor is having the ID and it is of type character, then at the physical level I am describing that how that character is being stored in the storage device. So whether it is stored in the consecutive memory locations or whatever may be the data structure that is being used. So I hope that I am clear with the concepts and you also understood the concept. So after logical level, let us proceed to the view level. So under view level, what we are going to do is, typically this is the highest level of abstraction and that is describing only some part of the entire database, right? So this is actually meant for simplifying the user interaction with the system. So what I mean by that, see, at the logical level, the application programmer and the database administrator have designed the database. So they have mentioned what they want to store, right? They have mentioned the data types, those are required to store that kind of a data and so on. At the physical level, the system will take care how actually that data needs to be stored. Now what is the view level? It is the highest level of abstraction and actually this is describing only some part of entire database. What do I mean by that? See, for example, in a particular database management system that is meant for a particular enterprise, lots of information is actually stored in the database. But always it is not the case that all the users required to interact with all that data, or it is not the case that all the users need access to all that information. So sometimes, for example, let us assume that we are dealing with our institute's data. Okay, and while dealing with that database, let us assume that there is one user who is a clerk who works in the office, right? And that clerk has given the responsibility to deal with only the data of the students and only the data with the faculty names and their departments, right? So whatever is the data that is stored in the database related to these activities, for example, students data and only the data related to the faculties, only their names and their departments, only that data needs to be accessed by that particular user, because that user has nothing to do with other data that has been stored in the database. Are you getting me? Say for example, we want the data related to the salaries of the instructors. We need to hide that data from that particular clerk, because that clerk has nothing to do with that data, right? So in this situation, if we want to give the access to certain part of the data to a particular user, then we are going for this highest level of abstraction. So this level of abstraction describes only some part of the entire database that is relevant for that particular user. And this actually helps us to simplify the user interaction with the system. Say for example, the users only can able to see the set of application programs, those are really meaningful for them, by hiding all other details of data types and everything, rest of the things. So typically, whoever is the end user who is using the application program to communicate or to access the data from the database, so these end users are typically making use of this view level data abstraction. So they are provided with only few application programs, those are hiding all other details of the database, and they are providing only those views by hiding all other information from them. Say for example, even though for the instructor I am storing ID, name, right, department name and salary, okay, that clerk will see only name of the person, ID of the person and his or her department. But it is possible for me to create a view level abstraction by hiding the salary information. So that person will not be able to visualize the salary. That person will not be able to see the salary. And sometimes this view level data abstraction is used for security purposes, to hide some information from the set of users. Correct? Are you getting me? If you have any doubts, either raise your hand, type into the chat box, or unmute yourself and speak up. Yes? Are you getting me? Anybody please respond.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So got what we mean by a view level data abstraction?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we are having now 3 levels of data abstractions, and typically the relationship between these 3 levels can be depicted in the form of a diagram like this. So physical level is the low level of data abstraction. Then next higher level is the logical level, and the topmost level of data abstraction is the view level. So see here at the physical level, actually we are describing the low level details, how actually the data is stored by making use of some complex data structures in the physical storage device. At the logical level, we are describing what information we would like to store. So this is how. At the logical level, we are saying what. So what information we would like to store and what are the relationships among the data items, right? And at view level, typically we are hiding some part of information from the users to simplify the access and also to provide some kind of security. So we may have different views at view level. So if the person is clerk, then the clerk may have some kinds of views available. So some data would be hidden, and that person will have access to some part of the database via this view. If I am talking about some administrator, so whatever are the rights or whatever information that is accessible to that particular kind of administrator, right? Only that information would be accessible via another kinds of views to that particular user. So depending on the kind or the nature of work of various end users, different views are being created, different application programs are being generated, and these programs are giving different views to the end users so that efficiently those end users can access the data. So if I am having student as one of the user, so students will get access to only the data related to the course material, right? They will get the access to the data so that they can visualize the attendance, but they will not be having the access to some other data. Is that correct? Any doubts so far? If no, then we may proceed with the next concept. May I proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So the next concept under view of data is related to two important terms, schemas and instances. So we are having here some kind of an analogy with the programming language. So you have learned various programming languages, right? And you are aware of the data types, the variables, those are declared for a particular data type, and then it is possible for us to assign some values to the variables. So you are aware of this terminology, data type, the variable and the value, right? Because these are the terminologies those we are using in any common purpose programming languages. Is that correct? Are you getting me?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. Now we are going to relate these terminologies with the database systems also. So let us see first what we mean by a schema. So schema is actually the logical structure or the overall design of a database. I'll repeat once again. What is a schema? Schema is the logical structure or the overall design of the database. So whenever we try to design our database, as we mentioned earlier, at the logical level, we define the type of the records. So that type relates with this type. type of the record and the types, data types of the elements. Those comprise definition of that record. So instructor is one of the records, and for that instructor I need to store ID, so that ID is of type character. I need to store name, so that name is also of type character. So this is the information that I would like to store, right? So under schema we are actually describing, right, that kind of a information. So in fact we are having three kinds of schemas: physical schema, logical schema and sub-schema. So the database design at physical level is known as physical schema. So at this level of database design, we are describing how actually the data is being stored in the database. So that is a physical schema. So at the physical level of database abstraction, whatever design concepts we apply, those are the physical schemas. What about the logical schema? The database design at the logical level. So just I mentioned, if I want to store instructor, we are describing the instructor record with the data types of the individual elements and so on. So such kind of a database design comes under logical schema. So database design at the logical level is known as logical schema. And what are the sub-schemas? These are actually the different views of the database at view level. So physical level relates with physical schema, logical level relates with logical schema, and view level of data abstraction relates with sub-schemas. Okay, so this is how we are describing the schemas. So typically, schema is the logical structure or overall design of the database. Further, I'll just give you the idea what we mean by instance, and then we'll conclude our session. So what is instance? Instance is typically a snapshot of the data that is stored at a particular point of time in the database. Say for example, I have designed the database for my department, right? And suppose I am inputting the data related to the students in my database. So I am inserting the records of the students. Say for example, if I am having 100 students in my class, then it may not be possible for me to input data related to all those 100 students at a time. So what I can do is, in the current session, say for example, I am inputting the data for say 20 students out of 100. Is that correct? So I have stored only 20 students. So at this instance of time, if I take a snapshot of my database, what I find is only data related to those 20 students, because I have inputted data with respect to 20 students in my database. So that is one instance of my database, right? So instance can be related with the value of a variable. So I am having the students schema, right? So I have designed something at logical level to store the students data. Okay, so I am having the schema to store the data for student. Is that correct? So that is the definition for student. So I have defined by making use of some data types. I have defined how to store the student record in my schema at logical level. Okay. Now, what data actually I am storing? So I am going to assign the records for students now. So I am having now the values added for that entity student. Correct? So I have inputted say 20 records right now for students, and I have taken a snapshot of my database. Then that is called as one instance. So if tomorrow I come once again and if I try to input few more records of the students, then at that instance of time I may have, or at that point of time I may have another instance of the same database. So I'll be having some other values assigned into my database. Correct? So that is what we mean by instance. The actual content of the database at a particular point in time. So that is what we mean by instance. So it is a snapshot taken at particular point of time. So with respect to this, I would like to highlight one more concept, and that is physical data independence. Physical data independence. So what we mean by physical data independence? It is the ability to modify the physical schema without changing the logical schema. So what we mean by that is, many times what happens is, due to some reason, we need to modify our physical schema. Say for example, I have stored the data at the physical level using some kinds of data structures, and I'm using some mechanisms to access that data. I'm using say some hashing code to extract that data efficiently. So at physical level, I have used some mechanism to store that data. I have used some data structures to store that data. But after inputting lots of data into my database, it may happen sometimes that the performance of my database system has degraded now. Why? Because I'm having lots of data. So if it happens that the performance has degraded, and if I noticed that the performance of my database system has degraded, it is not possible for me to extract the data in an efficient way, then what I can do is I can think of changing or modifying how actually I have stored the data at the physical level, at the physical schema. Right? So if I go for modifying my physical schema, why I'm modifying my physical schema? To improve the performance of the system. So if I try to modify my physical schema, then it should not affect my logical schema, because underlying the logical schema, I am having the physical schema. So logical schema describes how actually I have stored the data. Say for example, it describes the way I am storing my record. So instructor record. So I am having these 4 components. But at the physical schema, how actually those 4 components are stored is being described. The data structures are being described. So physical data independence means I am able to modify my physical schema without affecting the logical schema. That's all. Ability to modify the physical schema without affecting the logical schema. So please right now remember only this point, and in the next session we are going to highlight more on these concepts. So I hope you might have understood whatever we discussed today. I am floating one quiz. In the next 10 minutes you are supposed to answer the quiz. Okay? Meanwhile, if you have any doubts, please let me know. So I have posted the link in the chat box. And also I'm posting the link on your WhatsApp group so that you can access that link and answer the questions. Whether the link is available? Whether the link is available?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so answer the questions. The link will be available for next 10 minutes. So I hope you have understood the questions. If not, you may post your queries. And we are going to conclude now this session because you are supposed to have the next session. Akshay Jadhav, are you there?
Akshaya, ma'am.
Akshaya, okay, Akshaya. So have you got the concepts?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Attempted the quiz?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. If you have any kinds of doubts, please let me know.
Okay.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.